Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the invisible architecture that keeps our modern digital world from, well, completely collapsing. Because every time you stream a movie, buy something on Black Friday, or just check your bank balance on your phone, you are relying on massive, distributed systems. But as you can imagine, scaling these global applications without the whole thing crashing down, that's a monumental challenge.
I mean, really think about it. When your data is spread across multiple servers globally, what exactly happens when a network cable gets cut or a server suddenly just dies? It's a constant, high-stakes dilemma for engineers. You have to manage and sync data across systems when inevitable hardware and network failures actually strike. You can't just cross your fingers and hope it all stays connected, right?
What is the CAP theorem? Let's take a quick look. To understand how tech giants manage this balancing act, we've got to look at this foundational concept proposed by Eric Brewer back in the year 2000. It stands for three distinct properties. First up, the C stands for consistency. In a purely consistent system, every single read operation returns the most recent write, or it just returns an error. Basically, it means that all nodes in a system see the exact same data at the exact same time, and this is absolutely crucial for things like financial banking. Imagine transferring $1,000 and then seeing totally different balances on your mobile app versus the bank's website. That kind of inaccuracy, it would be disastrous.
Next, the A stands for availability. This guarantees that every request receives a response, keeping the system running even if some nodes are completely down. For an e-commerce site, downtime is literally fatal. Research actually shows the average cost of IT downtime is around $5,600 every single minute. So providing uninterrupted responses, even if the data is a tiny bit stale, is often a top priority just to keep the revenue flowing.
Finally, the P is partition tolerance. This just means the system continues to operate despite network failures, lost messages, or delayed connections between nodes. And here's the thing. Because network failures are a physical reality of distributed cloud setups, in fact, they occur in about 10 to 20% of large-scale cloud deployments annually, partition tolerance is a non-negotiable requirement. You simply cannot opt out of the laws of physics. The pick two myth. Okay, let's dive into this, because this is where the biggest misunderstanding about the CAP theorem actually comes from. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it shaped developer thinking for years. You've probably seen this classic overlapping Venn diagram. The rule was taught as pick any two out of three. Because partitions are inevitable, meaning you basically always have to have P, the diagram suggests you're forced into a permanent binary choice. You can either have consistency or availability, but never, ever both. But you know what? That interpretation is highly flawed. Even Eric Brewer himself clarified this a decade later. He stated that CAP prohibits perfect availability and perfect consistency only in the presence of partitions, which honestly are actually quite rare. The paradigm shift here is that modern systems don't just rigidly pick two and stick with them forever. Instead, they maximize combinations of consistency and availability during normal operations, and only make that hard binary trade-off when a failure actually happens. Real-world database trade-offs. Let's see how this theory actually plays out in the wild. When a partition does strike, systems essentially split into two camps. On one side, we have CP systems. That's consistency plus partition tolerance. These systems will literally halt operations and refuse to respond if they can't guarantee the data is perfectly accurate. On the other side, we've got AP systems, availability plus partition tolerance. They prioritize uptime at all costs. They'll return data quickly, even if it means relying on eventual consistency, where the data will just sort of sync up eventually after the outage is over. To really ground this in reality, let's look at CP databases in action, where data integrity trumps everything else. MongoDB, for example, will just halt writes during a failure, which prevents an e-commerce site from accidentally selling a TV they don't actually have in stock. Meanwhile, Google Spanner takes this a massive step further. They use actual GPS and atomic clocks, yes, atomic clocks, to guarantee precise financial consistency. And if you need extreme uptime, CockroachDB manages 99.999% availability while still prioritizing strict consistency for fintech workloads. On the flip side, we have AP systems. Think about Netflix. They rely heavily on Apache Cassandra. If there's an outage, keeping the service up is their #1 priority. You might see slightly stale movie recommendations, but hey, the app won't crash. Similarly, Amazon's DynamoDB powers their shopping carts to survive those massive Black Friday traffic spikes, making sure the cart is always available for you to add items. And for offline-first mobile apps, CouchDB is a perfect fit, just seamlessly syncing your data once your connection is finally restored. Surviving the inevitable partition. Let's move to and see how this builds into the practical mechanisms engineers use when the network actually does go down. Because it's not enough to just know the trade-offs, right? You have to actively manage the disaster. Modern systems don't just crash. They handle network partitions gracefully using a 3-step playbook. First, the system detects the partition through timeouts. Then, it actively enters an explicit partition mode, where it intentionally limits risky operations. Finally, once reconnected, it initiates partition recovery to merge data and automatically fix any discrepancies. The absolute best way to visualize this is through a highly relatable scenario. The classic ATM. Imagine you're at an ATM, and it loses its network connection to the main bank server. It has to make a rapid key CAP decision on the spot. Does it shut down entirely to protect perfect consistency, or does it stay available so you can get your cash for the night? Well, what most ATMs do is enter what's called a stand-in mode. They gracefully sacrifice perfect consistency for limited availability. The ATM will still let you withdraw money, but it artificially bounds the risk by limiting you to, say, $200. It prioritizes your experience as a customer. Then, once the network is restored, the ATM syncs back up. And if you withdrew more money than you actually had in your account, the bank fixes the mistake retroactively by charging you an overdraft fee. That overdraft fee is a perfect example of fixing an externalized mistake after a partition ends. Two other great analogies for this are airplane overbooking and drunk dialing. Think of an airline overbooking a flight. They prioritized availability to sell as many seats as possible, and when the partition ends at the gate and there aren't enough seats, they compensate you with vouchers to fix the externalized mistake. Or think of drunk dialing. In the morning, you can't magically undo the call, right? The mistake is externalized. You just have to take a compensating action, like a very, very good apology, to fix the state of the relationship. And this brilliantly illustrates a modern engineering solution, commutative replicated data types, or CRDTs for short. Instead of needing a human to apologize or an airline to issue a voucher, engineers can use CRDTs. If you carefully constrain the types of operations allowed during an outage, like say, only allowing users to add or remove items from a shopping cart, CRDTs mathematically guarantee that the system will automatically and flawlessly merge all the data back together the exact second the network is restored. It's almost like magic, but it's just really good math. Beyond CAP, the Passel-C theorem. So what about when things are running normally? This brings us to a crucial extension of the CAP theorem, introduced by Daniel Abadi in 2010. Because CAP really only addresses disaster scenarios. So the crucial point is that Passel-C acknowledges everyday operations. It states, in case of a partition, trade availability versus consistency. Else, meaning when the network is perfectly fine, you must trade latency versus consistency. Managing everyday latency is just as critical as preparing for a disaster. You have to ask yourself, do you want lightning-fast responses for your users, or do you want to incur a little bit of lag to guarantee the data is 100% accurate across the globe? Bringing this all together, we have some highly actionable advice for system designers. First, you need to assess your application's requirements and explicitly rank consistency, availability, and partition tolerance. Choose databases specifically tailored to your use cases. Implement database tunables so you can balance speed and accuracy on a per-query basis. And most importantly, proactively test your systems using chaos engineering, like Netflix's famous Chaos Monkey, to simulate failures and see how your architecture truly responds under stress. Which leaves us with this pretty stark reality. It's not a matter of if a network partition will happen, it is entirely a matter of when. The CAP and Passel-C theorems aren't just academic theories you read in a textbook, they are literally the blueprints for digital survival. So, when your network inevitably fails, will your architecture buckle under the pressure, or have you designed it to gracefully survive? It's a question every single system designer has to answer. Thanks for joining me for this explainer. I hope it gave you a totally new lens for viewing the systems we rely on every single day.